What happens when I say follow the yellow brick road? Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. The communication system. Where do you go through calculation? All about our GPS line condition. It's all about understanding, kind of like all levels of the fairy tale of Alice in Wonderland. Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through the borderline channeling interference location of the placebo cortex. The affecting high center line conditions is the brain interference. It opens all channel on the interference location line conditions. You have to stand the practical line center interference location logical line condition. This opens up all channel line centers. 5 to 10 minutes, we'll get started. Make sure you guys have your water. Especially when you're traveling. Because when you're traveling through my school, you're traveling through the mind. All right. So I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to get everybody in. Seating arrangements. Make sure you're sitting. I'd rather you guys sit than stand. Too much energy, too much fluctuation line conditions. It's all about understanding that everything is from inside that comes from outside. So you're creating the inside and then outside, and everything comes to the expansion location, to its exploration, to its manifestation, to its creation, to its abundance. Anything to the high system locations. So trying to understand anything to placebo cortex, high line interference locations, like I was telling you before, when it comes into levels of your thoughts, each letter is accelerating through the placebo. Visionary cortex, the calculation line centers, interference of channel, okay? Practical line centers, SAC line channels. Now it's trying to understand how it's set up, position, location, line conditions. 8 channel interference, high center interference, line condition, rotation. So it's like a roller coaster, just constantly going, whoa, 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 every single day, every single day, every single day. Repeating cycles, repeating cycles, repeating cycles. See what I'm doing? See what I'm doing? See what I'm doing? I'm repeating. I'm repeating. I'm repeating. Now, if I'm changing my line signal, if I'm changing my line signal, what's happening? What's happening? I don't know. I don't know. See how I do it? See how I do it? Same rhythm pattern. Same rhythm pattern. It's always in the same motion. It's always in the same motion. Truly understand how to use the computer adaptation system. So it's like a record player skipping. Die, 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 die. So I want you to understand how powerful it is, what a placebo cortex is. It's all provisional location to understand the connections to its system. Okay? So it's all about understanding how to modify your line centers. I told you again before, and I'll keep saying this every single time. It's going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You guys have to learn how to go forward and back, backwards and forwards, forward and back, backwards and forwards. Try to get into that process. Try to get into that process. Try to get in that process. It's always in the same motion. It's always in the same motion. See how it goes in calculation? See how it goes in calculation? It's always in the right division. It's always in the right division. Now, if I go into the opposite cycle, it changes this cortex right away, right? So I change the frame, I change the thought, expansion. Breaking out of a cycle is truly understanding the rotation line connection interference, okay? So you stop repeating. So you stop repeating. Do you understand? Do you understand? That's a calculation. That's a calculation, right? Hoo-ah, hoo-ah. See how it's the same motion? See how it's the same motion? Until they track the interference. Oh, I add something. So this confuses this, which confuses this, which confuses everything, right? Because you got the male-female aspect location to the brain interference, to the brain interference. Why am I repeating? Why am I repeating? Well, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing every single day, okay? So it's very powerful when you do these things over and over and over. And that's how you break the frequency. And that's how you break the frequency. Did you see me pause? Did you see me pause? That's how powerful it is. That's how powerful it is. So that's what you guys are doing, is a repeating cycle. That's what you guys are doing, is a repeating cycle. All right? It's very powerful. It's very powerful. But when you change the system, what happens to its location? It confuses its anomaly. It breaks the cycle. Thumbs up. Pretty amazing, isn't it? So I just want to show you how you do these things all through computer system. So it's kind of like understanding energy manipulation. It's extremely, extremely powerful. Okay. So make sure you guys have your water. Questions or comments are asked afterwards. Okay. But it's pretty powerful, right? When I was repeating myself, right? To understand, how do I get out of these things? How do I get out of these things? How do I get out of these things? See how I change my voice? It confuses its anomaly, right? It confuses its anomaly. Same voice line center, same voice line center. But if I go same voice line center, I change the position. I change the frame. I change the frame. So it's very powerful. So it's very powerful until you change the activation. Uh-oh, I changed the position. Uh-oh, I changed the position. So it's amazing. So it's amazing, right? Through calculation, through calculation. But as soon as I change the rhythm, what happens? It changes the program. It gets you out of its deleting system. So it's very powerful when you do these things. I did that before in one video. I didn't really get into it full force line connection, but it was pretty interesting when you do these things. So try to do that for yourself. Really repeat yourself and then understand why you can't move forward in life. Why you can't move forward in life. But if I don't connect with all levels of touching my chin and I do something else, it changes its program, right? Or it goes back in its cycle, or it goes back in its cycle, right? So it's powerful. So it's powerful. See how I changed that? Powerful. Powerful. Two different vortex locations of position, all right? You have the dopamine connections, and you also have the serotonin. That calculates all levels of the brain stem. Now, stem line center interference location, all levels. It's fires and wires, the channel line center location to your placebo, to your thoughts. I just wanted to show you why you guys are in the receptacle line interference location of confusion. Because you keep repeating your thoughts. Because you keep repeating your thoughts. So I got to get out of the equation inner line. Okay, so now I'm out. See? Done. I changed the frame. Now I'm free. Right? That's how the brain works. So it's pretty amazing when you do these things. Right? Just knowing how to use the operation inside. Okay. So as we set up position locations, all channel line center, code signals, and interference line conditional levels. Cruise units, squads, ones and twos, is going to go in channel line center interference. Same with all levels of GFLs and the rebellion and the communications of these center masters. All right, so we're going to go through the sunline center into a tunnel in rotation. All right. So the tunnel set up in that connections. All right. So as you're going through, you're walking a system interference. Now I set up the code signals in rotation. So what's going to happen is the cruise units 1 and 2 and the squad line centers and everything through the GFLs, the rebellion, and the center masters are going to go into the center operation 2 is placebo effect. Ground interference line conditions and power line center of generation light interference, rotation line condition. Okay, coming in communications. There's the intelligence. See it? All right, so understanding intelligence is understanding youth information line conditions. So we come into wind tunnel. Okay, wind tunnel set up in high center line interference. Electrical lights, electrical line, and a rotation line condition in position. All right, so this is where it comes into the cloud channel. Now, cloud channel is an activation stream. Okay, it rotates its system location to all positions. All right, it's high line center, its connection. So it placebo its cortex into the center operation to the power line center. All right, so the power line center. In calculation, it highlights its high line rotation and interference. Now, the brain only understands the conscious line center. It doesn't understand the super of its consciousness. It's not allowed to understand anything else until it understands its system. To get out of these things is to get out of anything through its equation. To get out of anything through its equation. So it's truly an understanding. It's truly understanding. It's to get out of the audio signal. It's to get out of the audio signal. But if you change the frame, you're out of sequence. So, and this is where comes in the serotonin. So you have to understand how to use it through position, calculation, all line centers. So when you're waking up highline center interference to all levels of the brain connections, all the connections, it's all about understanding how to channel it in all rotation. Okay. So as it comes into form line centers, we set up the brain line center interference. Okay. So it has 2 line center interference location to its calculation. Right? See the intelligence? Now the intelligence is going to be highline center. So it comes all levels of connections to high level channels. Alice in Wonderland, how she went in basically following the rabbit. She kept going and going, and then as she went into the position location, she came out of highline center interference. Okay. Everything is a tactic view of you to understand the calculation of what a placebo effect does to you. That's an audio interference location to its channel. That's an audio interference location to its channel. How am I able to do this? How am I able to do this? Because that's a program. Because that's a program. Do you understand? Do you understand? So it's sure to understand if I say understand, understand, and I say something else, that changes the program location. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But you have to understand what I did differently so I don't do an audio loop. All right. HL interference location line conditions. All right. So it's trying to understand how to represent line center locations at all levels of U through its core system, which is right here. See? So understand the calculation is truly understanding the division location of its position. Right? You got 2 line centers. Okay. You got the left line center connections of father, and you get the right position locations of mother. Okay. So this is a rotation cycle. So it's all about understanding how to change your thoughts and get out of the audio line center interference. You got to get out of those programs. Okay. Every single day, even if you're in the now position, you're still going to be audio looping. You're still going to be audio looping. But if I change my voice, it changes its brain. It confuses its brain. Magic. So these are the things you have to understand and how it calculates and modifies all levels of you. Isolate your system for 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, right? Just a 3-day track interference. Really get to know yourself inside to really understand how to get out of audio loop, audio signal, audio gamma signal, linear rotation, interference location to its connections. Even through a radio signal. It's true to understand that because it's just vibration. That's all it is. So if you're like this and you're going like this, what are you doing to your waves? What are you doing? You're back forcing, right? You're going to go this way. You're trying to go forward, but you can't. You keep going back. So you have to truly understand how to use the brain, what the brain is doing to you every single day, what the brain is doing to you every single day, what the brain is doing to you every single day. Air, 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 air. Signal and rotation interference line connections back in track system. Right? So you truly have to understand how powerful it is, how you can get lost in transaction, lost in transformation, lost in confusion, lost in rotation, all through an audio loop. Okay? So it's very powerful when you come in that position location. All right? So we're going to channel off. You guys are going to go all the way into the tunnel line center, okay, to its connections. All right, so we're channeling position. Open up the portal line and rotation line conditions, code signal line and rotation line conditions, cruise units, squad units 1 and 2, and everything. The GFLs, rebellion, everything is sending masses going to high center. Here you go. There you go. You guys are in the center line conditions. All right. All right, so understand the modification line centers. You get 30 minutes to track the line center locations, graph interference line conditions to its placebo effect. 30 minutes, have fun. All right, so as you're in that equation, so it's all about understanding how to change things, how to change your mind, how to change your rhythms, how to change your programs, how to change your settings, how to change your life, how to change this, how to change that, understand this, understand that, more and more and more and more and more each day, right? Because if you don't do this, you're going to be in an audio loop. You're going to be in an audio loop. You're going to be in an audio loop. Okay? This is the true understanding why it's so powerful. Okay. It's all about understanding how to communicate all levels inside. Right. And that's why I keep saying school's not just the balance, it's the balance of you inside. It's the operation, how you use it. Vibration is about moving forward, not back. So what's going back in your mind? Your thoughts. That's an audio loop. That's an audio loop. See that? See that? See that? Oh, went that way. I changed the frame. Now I'm out. Not caught in the web anymore. Changing rhythm patterns. Beat drums. Music. Lyrics. Calculation. High center and inference of position. Johnny's very informed of this, right? When he comes into the lyrics and program setting, position locations. Reading cycles. Things like scratching on a surface. Connections to all levels, chalk on a chalkboard, right? It screeches, it's loud. So it's turning to stand to get rid of the adaptation system is to change the frame location of its sound barrier, right? So it's all about how we use our senses and how to use it from inside through vibration system. It all modifies every single time when you understand the equations. So it's a lot more fun when you understand. All right. So let's see where we are. How's everybody doing? All right. Sixkin, how you doing? Max, how's it going? Larry, how's it going? Abby, how's it going? Jill, how's it going? Airbender, how's it going? Johnny, how's it going? Steph, how's it going? Don, how's it going? Veronica, how's it going? Abby, how's it going? Jill, how's it going? Christine, how's it going? James, how's it going? Michael, how's it going? Linda, how's it going? Johnny, how's it going? Wow, it's great to see everybody. JP, JC, Gigi, Terry, Sambo, Sam, Veronica, Corporal's in, Taryn, Gypsy. You understand how important it is, how everything is connected to you inside, and it's very powerful when you do these things? Why do you think you can't move forward in life? As you keep audio looping. It's because you keep audio looping. It's all up here. It's all up here. I'm just showing you. But as soon as you change the frame, you're out. And you think, how did I get out of that? All of a sudden, like, I'm starting to remember something. And it's amazing when you can understand what you just finished connecting to. Was that a vision? Where's the calculation, though? Am I audio looping? What's happening with me through vision? What's going on with my dream? How do I decipher this? How do I decipher that? How do I communicate with this? How do I communicate with that? How do I understand astral travel? How do I understand astral projection? Right? So it's all given to you. But you really have to isolate your system and really get to know yourself more inside, because it's space waiting for you through time. That's why it's very powerful, because you all have it inside. Eli, how you doing? Max. Yeah, pre-flight check. Drink your waters. Stay within your system. Really get to know your system line conditions. Compass glowing. Alchemy machines activated. Growthian grounds. Place in north. You get me out of the cycles. Hot potato. Yeah, it's powerful stuff. I just want to show you how it's so effective in so many ways, where you guys keep audio looping, audio chanting your level systems, weaving systems of messages, communication line centers. Okay, it's like, you're on a connection to a piano, or basically you're typing. It's just trying to understand the communication of what's going on, right? So it's amazing when you understand finger point line center interference, right? It's just messages. So you have to understand how to use it, but you can't use it from seeing everything outside. You got to see it from inside you, because it's all in connection to travel. And everything has its own position, location of its direction, has its own thought, has its own relation, has its own signals, has its own clocking, has its own light, has its own division, has its own intelligence. That's why it's so powerful, right? So, but it's got to be from inside, guys. It really does. So you guys are having a lot of fun. That's great. I'm trying to understand that because you guys have never seen a placebo effect. You don't know what it is until you get inside the brain. So that's how it's set up to your receptors and your chakra systems of communication, transmitting and receiving information, right? But you got to stay out of the audio loops, okay? Because you can't move forward with that. Your thoughts don't move forward, they go back, right? So it's kind of like, you know, you're going forward and then got to put on the brakes and then back up, or, you know, got to go around and come back. So it's like a maze. Like I said yesterday, you try to get out of the maze. Your whole life is a maze, right? Your whole life is a maze, right? Now, just because this is yesterday, it's not yesterday, it's the now. Why? Because it's now added. You have to understand everything is always in forward line, okay? The brain doesn't understand the difference, right? It's only in the conscious line center. But if you're into higher position locations of its computer, you come in all communications to its general. See? So it's all about understanding how to modify anything through calculations. Audio looping is very hard to get out of if you don't understand the 8-line center of you, guys. This is the infinity of you. All right? So you have to understand how it's set up in calculation line conditions. Now, this is a bit confusing, but this is how it's all in operation line interference. It's rotation to its position, location, line condition. This is how it's set up. Okay? So it's very confusing if you understand the adaptation cycle. High line channel interference, program location line conditions. That's it there. All right? See the intelligence, see the nose, right? So the sequencing interference line condition is all about levels of travel. There's an audio loop. You see the 8-line center? It's very powerful. See in position locations, right? So it implants its high line center. The implementation and its position locations are levels of this direction. How to high channel it is another equation. It's getting out of the audio line center location of its maze, all through sequence, space of U, and time of division. Okay? So it's amazing how things are set up. Okay? So when you're in calculations, let's say you're creating a thought. Well, it fires and wires right away. That's what's firing and wiring. Whoa, that's cool. So as it's in a rainbow activation line stream, it changes position locations. Let's say you get in a stress line center. Okay, stress line center is all of the security measures. Now that's in the ground interference of your 3 position locations of your chakras. So in calculation, what happens? Stress line, right there. Okay. Now, what happens is you have the stress line that's trying to break free from high line center in position locations to its placebo. All right. So what happens is the rainbow activation line center comes in position locations and communicates with it through its division location of its intelligence, comes at it, and it said, hey, what are you doing? I don't want any stress line. It's coming at it, right? So this is how you see through intelligence location, intergalactic line center, anything through calculation is modification to a system. But it's amazing how it's set up. All right. So it's all about understanding if you get this in position and you get this in position, they are communicating with each other right away through division. Now, understand what's going on is another thing, right? So like an argument, having an argument with one person or the other. The true understanding is to get out of the locations and get it back in position location to its direction. Get rid of it to its high line center in calculation, done through position. There you go. See? No more stress. So it's incredible when you understand what you're doing, right? If you don't understand what you're doing, you're going to keep audio looping Audio channel line center. Let's say you communicate the sun graph line interference locations. Well, you 8 line centers change position. Uh-oh, what's going on? So the crown is offline position. You know, one calculation is offline condition interference. Now it's rotation to its highline conditions, which is all division location to its calculation. All right. So you got to put it back in track interference, back in the center line rotation to its position. So it set up the sonar line center rotations back into Orion's belt, back in communication. So it's true you understand how to set these things up. But it's very powerful if you understand the calculations to your stress lines. You have an indication line conditions of you. It's through your thoughts. But the placebo is the most important thing. It's the visionary of you. So understanding the illusion is its connections to its dream, right? So like I said, let's say you basically connect to all levels of being in calculations of being angry. Okay, stress, angry. Stress on so many levels, it just high vibes. Let's go into the graph interference. We'll go with electrical light connection, right? So something else comes in position, right? So you got electrical light connection right here. Oh, right, I'm coming in. Look at that. Electrical light's coming in. You can understand what's this coming from. Is it alpha, delta, theta, or beta, or omega? 5 position of channel line centers, all connections to the placebo cortex interference. In calculation, now this is already set up, right? We took the stress line, but now we're coming in all lines, locations of angry. It doesn't mean it has to be red, right? It indicates locations and how to change position location to its audio looping. So when you're stressing, what are you doing? Vibration, right? It high rises. Confrontation. You get a gut feeling, right? You get nervous, right? So it's all connected to the nerves that's inside the brain. Brain stem, brain nerves, brain calculation, brain modifications, brain channels, brain division, brain TV line center. In calculation, all levels. Visionary cortex location. Now, in modification line connection, it's to understand what you're doing through vibration, right? So to get rid of the stress line centers, again, this has to communicate, right? It's looking over here now. See? It's going to go all the way around and say, hey, what are you doing there? Right? So if it tries to get in hindline center and it wants to release location, it's going to try to take over the whole level of its position location. That's where it spreads. Now, anything that spreads changes location, right? So what does it do? If it's highlining its position location and it wants to get out of direction, you have to truly understand that it's a very powerful connections of a technique. So it highlines its channel, disappears its highline rotations, no more aggression, right? So it's all about your brain patterns, your communication cycles, your rhythm patterns, your coloration triangles, highline interference, location line conditions. But it's all connected to a highline system rotation. Once you understand what's inside, you understand the communication through its intelligence, right? So it kind of lights up its graph connection to your 12 DNA. You have 12 aggression line centers in calculations, all through stress lines. Now, this is to understand that you have to keep them in formation of a triangulation, because if you don't, you're out of position locations. Anything that doesn't understand this division line interference, if you get a higher formation of light or anything through travel, you have to truly understand how to understand what's going on with that modification system, or you're going to be drowning into the placebo cortex of its hindline center of travel position locations, offline interference to highline conditions of its position. What are you going to do now? Right? So understanding the program setting is all about repositioning locations of direction. You have to learn how to use your chakra line centers and get yourself out of audio line rotations of channels, TV reception line interference. You got a TV line center. It's very powerful. Let's go through the green interference box location. All right, you got your TV line center in position, right? Like the bunny ears. I love the box TVs. So in calculation, modification line connections in direction line system location, right? Now, it's true to understand the coloration of its rainbow line center, okay? And this is how it modifies all levels of emotion sensors. It comes into the lacing interference, opposition location rainbow. Now, the channelized center is a new graph interference. It opens all position location to its line connections. across its signals. All right? Interruption. There's a lot of interruption there. Okay? So when you're sending a calculation, it lines its signals and it travels on its own because it knows what it's doing. It gets out of its thought position. See how it travels? So it's kind of like all this together. As soon as you change your thought, so you have to, if it's going off like this, you got the other side of the brain talking to it, right? And if it wants to fix it, right now it's all free. So it's not just the male female of the placebo, it's also the hindline center of the connections of the female. Male and the female have to stand in the convergence to its location to its T reception line center, or you're just going to be circling and circling and circling in a box position, and you're not going to be set free through its line signals of teleportation. That's why it's so powerful through visualization. So there's a lot of things you have to understand how it's in its own process of communication. It's incredible force when you understand how space is all levels of you. Retracking line center in a line rotations calculation. All right. So it's mostly important to understand that you have the power to get out of these situations. Anything through audio looping. Audio looping is very hard if you don't understand what you're doing with your thoughts of travel. So you got an 8-line center. Okay, so you got another 8-line center here, another 8-line center here, another 8-line center here, another 8-line center here. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 3, 4, 5. Now, if you want to communicate to 8-line center, all line center interference location intelligence, T reception line conditions, you have to do a triangulation to its point system. Ooh, congratulations. Coming in formation, there's the intelligence. Ooh, see, intelligence, body, antenna. Everything has an antenna. There you go. So it's very powerful. You come into, it's not just the imagination. It's the core recognition of phenomenon line center. Once you get in your phenomenons and your channels and your communication cycles, you get full communication line systems. And I guarantee it, if you practice more communicating inside, you won't audio loop. You won't audio loop. Okay? Okay? Right? So that's the turn understanding. That's why people have a hard time moving forward, is because they keep audio looping their thoughts and they don't understand the visionary to its dream. There's a lot of confusion there, right? Because you're set in waves to all line center locations of fail. Ooh, So, okay. It's better to fail than succeed. And there's a reason for that. It's all psychological. Okay. The more you fail, the more you succeed. Right. So it's like keep getting back on that horse until you succeed, right? Failing is its position of pressure, but pressure gives you what? Guidance. It gives you to go beyond of what you can do, right? So you can get out of audio loops. You don't want to be in that. Right? So that's the turning stand what thoughts are. And why you guys can't move forward is because you're trying to find a way to get out of the illusion and just interline its connection to its dream and find a way to connect to your visions, to your sounds, and to your voice. Right? You are the command of your own ship. You just have to learn how to navigate it through its operation. Pretty amazing, isn't it? But it's all done from inside. But you start with your imaginations. You have to start somewhere. But it has to be inside, guys. So everything comes to you when you understand more of you. Okay. And once you understand more of you through memory, everything through that memory comes into form of you through calculation that puts everything in its modification to its cycles. Right. So you find a way to put yourself in a way to see yourself going forward more and more each day with your thoughts. Right. So, and you don't want to get into a trap. And you don't want to get into a trap. Oh, I changed it. I'm out. Right? So you got to find a way, use the psychological interpretation, how to get out of the psychosis location to its psychological channel. The metaphysical, the metaphysical, the psychological, emotional, and the spiritual line connection has to understand what's going on every single day you get up in the morning. How do you feel? So try to interline inside instead of outline your position. It doesn't help you in any way in form. You have to find a way to keep yourself in a way of seeing your heart in a high center, high vibration, high communication, high levels of abundance and surrender every single day. The more you do this, the more you get out of the cycles of audio interference, audio chanting, audio looping, audio communication off system, audio division line interference, location, and separation. The only thing, if you're separated because you want to be separated, just because you're connecting to your thoughts. And it's again, understand that when you're traveling, you basically want to understand what you're doing through the psychological of its system, right? So as soon as you travel, you're traveling through connection. You're traveling. It's beautiful. But all of a sudden, oh, what's this? What's going on? Okay. Oh, what happened? What's going on here? Right? What's going on? What's going on with the line? Right? Interruption. Right? Anything can happen through a line. Get out of the line center, psychological line, back into the line rotation, back into the line division. Ooh-ah. Easy. Easy for me, right? Because I go inside. I don't look at perception from outside. I look at perception from all levels from inside. And that's how I get in calculations of letters, numbers, and shapes, and how it represents me and all levels of me, because that's all it is division locations of all line centers of your perception and how you see yourself from all connection to line signals to its confusion, right? You allow yourself to be confused just because you're saying you're confused. So what do you think that does to the serotonin, the dopamine? What does that do? Audio loop, audio loop, audio loop, audio loop. So that's the same thing, right? Goes around, goes around, goes around, goes around, goes around. You're getting dizzy. What are you going to do? Oh, stop there. You see that? Pause. I'm showing you how powerful it is when you can change things and break things down into a new rhythm, a new pattern, to new algorithm line conditions. How to get out of it is another thing. Get out of the audio loop. Get out of the audio loop. And you'll be fine. And you'll be fine. Right? Find a way to do it. It's not that hard. It's only hard if you think it's hard. There's no thinking process in the brain. The logistics location is all levels. When I say path, you see a path. When I say tree, you see a tree. But when I say you see a path and trees, you're seeing path and trees. So whatever I say interprets the brain. So this is it comes into a levels where you guys have to come more into intersect what you want to say to somebody rather than being a program. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? You're saying the same thing over again. Find a way to be yourself. Say something different. Make somebody laugh in a different way. Have a variation, different tactic, how you do things, right? That's how you break free. Okay. Now, This is true understanding why it's so powerful. Okay? But it's got to be inside, right? You know that. The team knows that. That's the most important thing you have to understand. And everything that you grasp is inside you, the mind. It's the most powerful thing that you can consume. All knowing of all knowledge, of all intelligence, of all space and all time. Hooah. So, okay, emotional releasing. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on, that's for sure. Watching TV as a kid, seeing the box TV. Great. Excellent. Breaking free from all these levels. Yeah, it's all about releasing line centers. This is the first time you guys ever been to the placebo cortex. You guys have never seen it, but when you see it, then you start to understand why it's so important. Is that the brain can only consume what it doesn't know, which means that it's already programmed. So this is true understanding is that when you get out of the old program and you create your own program, you're in a different tactic, you're in a different view, you're in a different formation, you're in different calculations, you're in a different stream, you're in a different intelligence, you're in different variation, you're in different rhythm, you're in different patterns, you're in different. You're different in all levels. You are you. You are you. Not what's programmed of you. Understand? Amazing, isn't it, when you come into you, the real you? It's a lot more fun, right? So, but releasing is the most important thing, guys. That's what it is. Heather, how's it going? Alchemy, yeah. Releasing all levels, all levels. Yeah, that's the importance. Uh-huh. It's important you understand these things. And I keep saying that every single day. So the more you understand the intergalactic line center of you, then you understand the calculations. Like really take time to understand what your hands are and what did they mean to you through representation. What are these glasses? What's the importance of wearing them? To see. Right? We already know that, but I can describe this what this is in 20,000 different ways. You just see it for wearing glasses. Right? So you have to find a way to get into your own program setting. Reposition locations of your thoughts and put yourself going forward. Find a way to change rhythms in your programs and connections to string theory, how you line signal things all together, the planet system. That's what you want to do. Inline center and then come out. So you create something from inside. You already created it, but it's got to come from inside out and then outside in. So it's all about observing from inside out, jump back out, looking from in. So that's a true understanding how life exists on its connections, right? Because that's how everything's created, from inside out, right? So fantastic class. Lots going on. Okay. Questions or comments? Let me know. Anything else? Take it easy. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Adios.